Welcome to the Produce Moms Podcast, where we believe there is a produce mom in all of us. I'm Lori Taylor, founder and CEO of the Produce Moms. For 10 years, I sold fresh produce to over 300 grocery stores in the U.S. And today, my team and I are fully focused on inspiring people to eat more fruits and vegetables. This show is just one of the ways that we hope to inspire you and your family to eat more produce and live a better life. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, join our community of almost 40,000 in all 50 states and over 30 countries by visiting theproducemoms.com/subscribe. And be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. Thanks for being here. Enjoy today's show. Welcome back, everyone. Today on the Produce Moms Podcast, we're welcoming Jennifer Wiese. I absolutely love when I get to sit down and talk with a passionate founder. It just moves my soul, and that's what today's episode is all about. Jennifer is the founder and CEO of BeeFree. If you have ever seen Warrior Mix at the grocery store or have purchased it online through their website, you know what I'm talking about. This is an amazing gluten-free, paleo-friendly, plant-based, woman-owned business. It's a product that I've been bringing into my home for years, and it's a real joy to welcome Jennifer Wiese as our guest today. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Lori. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks. This is going to be a great episode. So you got to tell us more about your story. I love that your story is rooted in motherhood. So you gotta share that, please. Tell our listeners what is BeeFree and how you came up with this idea and developed this product.
Great. Well, I am the proud mom of 4 sons. So our oldest is 24 years old now. And when he was 7 years old, he was diagnosed with autism. So we, my husband and I quickly started that journey of what do we need to do to give this kid the best chance at life and the best possible life that he can live. And so we just dug in, and we were so hungry for information and knowledge that where we landed was in Vancouver at an autism conference. And at that time, we learned about gluten-free and how gluten-free could be impactful specifically to children on the autism spectrum. And amongst all the other things that were being talked about at that time, hypobaric chambers, all kinds of detoxification, 30 types of supplements a day, all those things were introduced to us at different points throughout our very early journey. And none of those seemed very realistic to us, but food seemed very realistic. So we left that conference with, just this excitement and this really interest to kind of dig in. So if you think back, 2007, gluten-free was not that popular. Right. There weren't sections in the grocery store like there are today.
Or menus at the restaurant dedicated to it. Yeah.
No, none of that. So in the early days, it was tricky, and it was difficult to get good recipes and good knowledge and all those kind of things. And so we found ourselves just figuring things out on our own. And then 2008 rolls around, and gluten-free is starting to get a little fashionable. Some movie stars and actresses are adopting a gluten-free lifestyle, mostly because it was trendy and a little fashionable. And then some professional athletes are looking at gluten-free to enhance our athletic performance. And so suddenly gluten-free is in the media. People are starting to pay attention, and they're starting to kind of take a little closer notice to what they're putting in their bodies. And so everywhere I went, so this is like 2 years into living and figuring out how to have a gluten-free lifestyle for my family. Yeah. And not just for my one son who was already feeling very different, but for the whole entire family. So my whole approach was whatever we're eating, the whole family's going to eat it, and it's going to be made with clean, real ingredients, and it's going to taste delicious. So that was kind of my foundation from the very beginning. And then so people started to take notice, and my boys were busy. They were involved in all kinds of activities and sports. So because gluten-free was not anywhere in the marketplace, I took snacks and food for him. So people started then asking me, oh, I have somebody that needs gluten-free. Would you mind baking a birthday cake for them? And those kind of things started happening.
Right.
And it just happened more and more often. And I have a pleasing kind of personality. I'm a yes girl. And so I kind of felt the call. I number one, I saw the need out there in the marketplace, not just for my family, but for other families and other moms who really, like me in the early days, were seeking knowledge. They were seeking information that they just wanted help.
And they were turning to you as that
And they were
source
turning
of
to
not just inspiration, but actual education.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we did some farmers markets for a couple of years and brought all of our gluten-free treats and cookies and cakes and gluten-free pizza dough. Those were kind of our main staples back in the early days because those were my son's favorite foods.
Sure.
And so that's what I wanted him to have access to. So that was kind of the early days of BeeFree. And then in 2010, with the encouragement of my community, my family, I started a business. I turned BeeFree into a business. And we went and it was just me actually in the early days. And so I wore all the hats and just started knocking on doors and, looking to see who would let me in. Mm-hmm. And it was that's how we got our early start.
And when you say knocking on doors, do you mean grocery retailers, wholesalers, actual residential doors?
Mostly retail establishments, yeah. And then a local regional distributor as well that could help expand that footprint a little quicker.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So. What a story. I love it. So you started at the farmer's market. Well, you started in your home kitchen and then and really just coming up with solutions for your son and really for your whole family, which I applaud you for. I mean, I love that you were like, our family's in this together, and I think that's really so important.
Well, yeah. And, I think most parents want to give their kids the best shot at life, right? And we really saw this as a viable way to, enhance his abilities. And so it was very doable. It was very challenging for sure, but it was something we felt like we could get our hands around, and then we could give him control of as well. Yeah. So that was a big piece of it too.
Yeah. So why, with this being the produce industry focused podcast and content platform,
sure,
why is a product like yours important to the fresh fruit and vegetable industry?
Well, number one, we are a plant-based product, and it's nice to have variety in your diet, right?
Yeah.
So a big part of that is having other choices that are good, clean, real ingredient based products. And so a product like Warrior Mix fits nicely in a household that has lots of fruits and vegetables. It just kind of adds to the additional variety and nutritiousness of the choices that are in the house.
Yeah, it's a nice compliment. What I always tell folks when I'm searching for items that I would consider like, your center store items at the grocery store,
yes,
I always say, I seek out products that have the same level of integrity as what I find in the produce department. And that's how I would classify your product.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's a really nice compliment.
Yeah.
And one of the differences is that we just happen to have a package around ours that allows it to stay on a shelf and to be eaten on the go.
So explain to our listeners, for those that aren't familiar with your company or the Warrior Mix product line, explain exactly what you guys have. What's in the package?
So what's in the package is a really tasty combination of real ingredients, everything that's grown from the earth. You can identify, you can pronounce, and things like almonds, shredded coconut, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. It's lightly sweetened with honey. And then we use some pure extracts like vanilla and almond and a little bit of sea salt. And then some fruits for our apple and our berry varieties, cocoa for our chocolate, a little bit of cinnamon. So just really simple, pure ingredients. So we bake it up, we hand piece it, so it has a variety of chunks or clusters within that bag. So it makes it super easy to eat as a finger food snack, but also it's super yummy with whatever kind of milk you like, or maybe crumbled on top of yogurt. Yesterday I made a pie crust with it. So
Ooh,
it's
yeah.
super versatile. And that's part of what people really appreciate and enjoy. And the way it all came to be, the way we created this product was our family joined CrossFit a dozen or so years ago. And that community really kind of heightened our awareness of really just paying a little closer attention to the foods that we were eating and looking for even less processed foods than we were eating previously. And we really kind of keyed in on kind of older fashioned way of eating, and so sharing meal times together, preparing our meal time together and enjoying it, and enjoying simple foods like that.
Yeah.
So they were seeking a snack that they could put in their gym bag or they could take with them that would help them make better food choices that would be convenient, that didn't need refrigerated, and came to us knowing that we had this gluten-free bakery business. And they were like, could you come up with something that would give us a variety besides beef jerky and almonds and hard-boiled eggs? Because we need some other choices that we can eat to stay on our paleo kind of diet. So that's what we came up with.
Right. No, that's amazing. Okay. And so I want to kind of go back to that exploratory time when you found when you committed to, we're going to go gluten-free and dairy-free for our son with autism. And I want you to tell our listeners a little bit more about really the success that you've had with this. I mean, obviously you've had success, or it wouldn't have turned into a business model for you.
For sure. Are you referring to success with our son?
With your son, I would say, yeah. Okay. I mean, I would love for you to share a little bit more about that. And all the 100+ episodes we've had, we've never actually had someone with this type of experience be able to share that, if you'd be willing to. I mean, I think it'd be very powerful for everyone to hear your experience and how your son has, thrived with this new commitment.
Oh, for sure. This is one of my favorite topics in the whole wide world to talk about, because not only am I a mom and I'm terribly proud of all of our sons, but to look at the obstacles and the challenges that our oldest son has overcome is it's really something special. And so by no means I'm not medically trained. I'm not a professional in the medical field, but what I can tell you about eating a gluten-free and just more of a clean living way of life, right? So very little processed foods, nothing artificial is really what we're going for him, and cutting out the gluten and the dairy. And so, number one, we educated ourselves and found that there's nothing harmful in that way of eating. There's nothing that's going to harm him. So, in the early days when we were looking at, gosh, should we try it? Well, why not? Was the response from us, because there's nothing in there that can be harmful to him. So why not? Let's just try it and see what happens. And so people are always really curious about what actually did happen. What were actually the things that we did see that were different in our son? And so I'll tell you, some of those things were, he was sleeping better. He was more interactive. He would be more responsive when he heard his name, or be more conversational. I'm not by any means saying that this was a cure. I'm just saying these were things that we noticed when we removed gluten, dairy, and artificial things from his diet. These were things that we noticed in him. And that to us was powerful. Yeah. And we didn't need anybody to tell us that it either was or was effective, because we saw it with our eyes. And That's so right. that was really all we needed in order for us to stick with that commitment. And certainly we varied, we weighed from the strict gluten, dairy-free diet. And every single time we did, we saw some of those negative things come back. And so it was like confirmation to us that, yeah, you know what, this is hard. This is not easy. This is hard. And it takes a lot of commitment and a lot of dedication and a lot of pre-planning and all those things. But the effect
It's a worthy
and
effort.
And the impact is so worthwhile that we're going to stick to it because of those things.
Yeah.
So
beautiful remarks. And it just, to me, that is motherhood in a bottle right there. It's like us moms will go to any ends of the earth for our children. And I applaud you and your whole family for the efforts and the innovation that you've had with not just your product, but, you've been a great source of inspiration, I'm sure, for other households where there's family members and loved ones with autism. So good for you.
That's what it's all about. Well, and thank you for also mentioning my family, because family is a commitment, right? And when one struggles, y'all struggle, and y'all come around and, rally for the one who needs the most help. And so our family certainly has come together and rallied around our son that, needed just a little extra. And he still does, and he always will. So that's just who we are. So I'm super blessed with a really loving family.
That's great. Yeah. And I love that this is such a family owned business and I love that. And I think anyone who's got a passion for the cultural side of food, which is the adage I repeat episode after episode here for all of you regular listeners, food is culture. And when you encounter a product like this, like BeeFree and the Warrior Mix, it's, there is such a great story here behind it. There are so many cultural points that come forward in every single package that is sold. So I love that. So, I think I think you've done a really good job of explaining like what's in your product, or maybe more importantly, what is not inside your bags. But let's talk about some of the certifications. So obviously gluten-free. What are some of the others?
So we are also paleo friendly certified, as well as plant-based. And we also are WBENC. So we're a certified women-owned business.
That's great. And so what are your future plans with this business? I mean, you've got 4 flavors of Warrior Mix. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what's next? I mean, and we should probably go over let's make sure we inform everyone what you've got available right now. I always buy the red bag.
The red bag. Well, can I talk about the flavors really quick?
Yes, I want you to, of course.
Okay. So a big part of our brand is, we are a family business, as you mentioned, and each one of our sons has, put time and energy and sweat equity into BeeFree. And so as a way to add more of our family into our brand, we've named each of our flavors after one of our sons. So
I love that.
Yeah, so it was just a nice, fun little way that we could do that and add some personality to our packaging and to our flavors. And so each one has a little bit of their personality too. So Augie, who is our oldest son, who BeeFree was created for, we gave him the original flavor because it just seemed fitting.
Sure.
And then the next, so I'll go in order of their birth. So Hagen is next. So he's the berry that you like.
Okay.
And Clay is our chocolate fan. He has the green package with Clay's chocolate buzz. And one flavor that we just have removed from the shelves just temporarily is Drake's spicy chocolate. So being the youngest in the family, so that would be Drake, sometimes you got to be a little spicy. You got to be a little animated, right? To get some of the attention that you might need. Yeah. So that's the reason we named Drake's spicy chocolate after him.
Great.
And then we have an apple flavor that is named after my grandmother, May, who took an apple pie everywhere she went. So she has the turquoise May's apple pie package.
And as you were walking through those flavors, I think that yet again, I'm reminded of my question, how is this product important to the produce industry? Anytime I see a center store product item that is bringing forward the flavors and the ingredients of the produce department, that also makes me smile. So I love that too about your products. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So what's the future hold? Are we getting more flavors? Are we getting more varieties? What can you share? I mean, I know you're a founder like me, so you keep some of the future plans tight to vest, but anything you're comfortable sharing, we'd love to learn more about what's on the horizon for BeeFree.
Oh, yes. So we have some exciting things happening and I would love to share. So we've got we actually have 3 new flavors that we're just finishing up in the test kitchen. So we've got a salted caramel. Ooh. We have a chocolate chip And the third is maybe maple.
Ooh,
so that's still a little bit on the fence right now. But those 3 flavors are have been requested a lot. We do as much as we can. We love to listen to our customers and give them what they want. So they've been asking for a variety of flavors, and these are some of the favorites they've been asking for. So we're excited and happy to deliver. I can't really give a time frame, but I will say soon.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
And then we'll have to come up with some other family names to name them after. No more babies, but some other family names we'll have to name them. So
that's great. So folks can find your products online. You guys sell direct to consumer through your e-commerce and your website, which I encourage everyone to check out because it's got the founder's story and the family story, and you can see all the products up close and personal. So check out BeeFreeGF.com. That's BeeFreeGF.com. And where else, Jennifer, can folks find your products?
In most major grocery stores across the country, stores like Kroger, Meijer, Target, here in the Midwest and over to the East, Market District, just to name a few.
That's great. Good. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed today's show. I mean, I thought it was wonderful hearing your story. I mean, it's just, this is something that started as a home-based passion project where you as the mom were using the key ingredient for every recipe, which is love, using that
You're right.
to serve your son and your whole family with leading a gluten-free and dairy-free life. And then you evolved into selling at the local farmers market. And then you started that process of knocking on the door of retailers, and look where you're at today. I mean, it's just, I love it. I wish you the just continued success and stay true to everything that's gotten you where you are. And I'm sure that success will continue to come. So that being said, our guests always get the last word, so I'll throw the mic back to you. But Jennifer, I truly enjoyed this. Thank you so much for connecting with me on LinkedIn and, just bringing this great product to market. Because like I said, I'm a fan and I can't wait to try these other flavors. So, but tell Hagen, I'll still go after the red bag. Okay.
He'll be happy to know he won't be left out.
Yeah.
Well, it's what an honor and what a pleasure to have a little bit of time just with you today. So I really thank you. And then, just, I guess the last thing that I would like to just add is that it's the little things, and sometimes just the little changes make a big impact. So I think in our world, especially today, we often look for really big things, and sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to make big changes, but sometimes it's just the little thing, like, looking for other recipes or one little thing that you can do to add more fruits and vegetables into your diet. And, maybe it's something as simple as tuning into your podcast, Lori, and listening to, some of the people that you connect with, and maybe taking one little tidbit away that you can then apply to your life. So I guess that's what I would just want to add, is just like, don't always look for the big things, look for the little things that have a big impact.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Produce Moms Podcast. If you or someone you know would like to be a featured guest, just send an email to lori@theproducemoms.com. We know there is a produce mom in you because there's a produce mom in all of us. Join our community on Facebook and all social platforms. Help us change the way America eats. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.